Be blessed. I am Father Jeffrey Waldrep, and it is an honor to be a voice of He who is the voice. I'd like to talk briefly about being holy. That's right, you being holy. You know, in Matthew chapter 5, verse 48, St. Matthew says, "Be holy as your heavenly Father is holy." I mean, that makes holiness like bar really high. And so we think, well, can I really attain that? Am I really being holy? Because we can always think of the things that we've done that we wish we didn't do, today at least, in our life. But we are called to be holy people. I think the reality is to be holy is a lot simpler than we think. Because if we can live our life not about ourselves, but about God, well, then we're being holy. If people see God reflected in how you live your life, you are a holy person. I can guarantee you, go up to the life of the saints, pick any saint's life. They would not have considered their life holy. We look back at it in hindsight and say they were holy, but they had everyday stuff to deal with just like us. And so really to be holy is more about how can we be about God and not about ourselves. You know, I think about the story of the blind man that we hear of in Matthew's gospel and Mark's gospel. And the blind man physically, I think, can represent us spiritually of how we can be blind. We can be blind to our own self, and we want to do our own little things in our own spiritual life and it not be about God. But notice what the blind man did. First of all, the blind man cried out to Jesus, "Son of David, have pity on me." I think the first thing that we have to do to be holy is we have to ask for it. We have to cry out to the Lord and ask the Lord to help us to be holy. Every morning when I get up, that's one of my first prayers. Lord, help me to be holy. Help me to do your will today. We've got to start the day out that way and then remind ourselves all day long of how important it is to be holy. To call out to God to help me to be a reflection of who He is. And then the blind man, second of all, was patient and persistent. You know, the blind man had sat at that one spot for a long time. And he wasn't doing his own, he was waiting for the right moment for the Lord to come. He was patient, but he was also persistent. He kept crying out, and the disciples were trying to tell him to be quiet, and he kept crying out and telling the Lord what he wants. We have to be patient. We have to be patient with ourselves, and we have to be patient with the people around us. But we also have to be persistent and constantly being about what the Lord is asking us to be about. And lastly, the blind man, he got up and started living. You know, you would have thought if you were blind as long as he was, then you would have gone to see your family. You would have been looking at all the things you've never seen before. No, the scriptures tell us he immediately went and followed Jesus. It wasn't about him. He got up and started living his life by being who God was calling him to be. It wasn't about what if this, what about that? It was, what does God want of me today? Being holy. We're never going to be perfect. But the more that you can make your life not about yourself, but about God, the more you can be a reflection of God, you are being holy. I'm Father Jeffrey Waldrep, and it is an honor to be a voice of He who is the voice.